This is infrared. And we're walking through the financial district, so you don't have to. It's Friday, June 28th, 2024. And today, we will be looking at the Citibank Farmers Trust building of 1931. One of the very outstanding skyscrapers of the financial district. Outstanding in its field, much like a scarecrow. Not as well known as a lot of the buildings in the financial district, like the Woolworth Building and obviously World Trade Center. But becoming more and more popular due to an excellent coffee house that has opened up in the lobby there. Look at this here. Delicious. Conwell Coffee. Now before we get to Conwell, just a brief note about the history of the building itself. You can see that it's in this part of the financial district that has the very narrow, winding streets, cobblestone streets. I mean, this street is called Stone Street because it was the first paved street. Pretty bustling area on Stone Street. And especially at night, this is one of the few areas that you're gonna see a lot of places to eat and drink in this neighborhood, which primarily, even today, is quite a lot more offices than it is residential buildings or tourist venues but one of the biggest daytime population neighborhoods, and after all the commuters and tourists leave, one of the lowest nighttime population neighborhoods. So this old Citibank Farmers Trust building does happen to be just right down the block from one of the most bustling blocks in the financial district in terms of nightlife. You can see really, really short streets like this one here, Mill Lane, like your old buddy Judge Mill Lane. And these are all part of the original Costello plan, the so-called 1660 map Costello plan, laying out all of the streets of the original Dutch colony of New Amsterdam. Now here we got the building rising up with one of the most interesting and prominent features that you'll see once you get close up to the building. These heads up here, let's see if we can zoom in just a bit, yes. 4 gigantic heads, 4 sets of 4 on all 4 sides of the building. These are the giants of finance, looking down at the little people on the street below. This is sort of hearkening back to an era of banking when the banker would like to let you know your place in this world. They are the titans, they are the gods, and their gigantic heavenly heads will be staring at you let's take one more look at that. Look at the they don't look very nice. A little bit pissed off. No. Scary. Pretty scary. The original plan of the building was that this was going to be the tallest building in the world. They filed the plans for construction in 1929. Weeks, literally weeks, not even 1 month, I believe, before the stock market collapsed. point out here the unusualness of the block that this is located on here. So you got the building here, and you got a 5-pointed intersection, all one-way streets, no traffic light. I mean, how would you be able to have one on a 5-pointed street? And it's just a free-for-all. Cars moving, pedestrians moving. Luckily now, especially post 9/11, there's not a whole lot of traffic coming down here because they've shut all the streets down surrounding the stock exchange, which is not far from here. We'll take a look at that later. But point being, yeah, this is certainly not a grid pattern. It's a little bit difficult to navigate around here, especially for a vehicle and even for people because the layout is so confusing. It's also right next to Delmonico's, the very famous Delmonico's restaurant. So again, nightlife, this is a bit classier bit of nightlife than what you're gonna find on Stone Street, but nonetheless. Let's take a look here at the entrance to the newest banking hall, which will be the Life and Trust Bank. And because of the odd street layouts here, you have this trapezoid lot, sort of a weird oblongish layout of the 4 sides of the building, touching 4 blocks with 6 separate addresses and entrances. You can see that this is the 65 Beaver Street entrance, 420 Exchange Place. The sort of official address of the building is 20 Exchange Place. We'll see that in a bit. Yeah, so this here is 69 Beaver Street. Don't get any crazy ideas about that. It's just a nondescript, nothing sort of entrance here. When the show begins at Life and Trust, you will enter right through here. There's not going to be any sort of sign. There's not going to be any indication of what is going on in there. Just somebody waiting at the door. Check your ID and a bouncer outside. Maybe not. Delicious. Here's another service entrance. You can see that the windows are all papered over here. During showtime, you will see cast members coming in and out of here for Life and Trust. All of these metal door decorations are a fairly rare nickel alloy. I think it's silver nickel or nickel silver, something like that. And one of the things they wanted to do with this building originally as the Citibank Farmers Trust was build out of very high-end materials as opposed to a lot of the other buildings. Beautiful buildings like the Woolworth building, but are terracotta or brick on the outside, which is a lot cheaper. Here you have limestone going up all the way on the upper floors, and this bottom base level is all granite. You can see that you have coins on all the lintels above the windows here, coins representing different branches around the world that Citibank used to have in the old days. Oh, sorry, where the heck is this? Oh, there it is. There you go. Oh, yes. I think these are all like smaller denomination coins, and then when you get around face of the building, it's going to be higher denominations. Let's look again at the frightening. Oh my. Absolutely terrifying. Very large steam heating system in the old days. And you can see here the taste of success. Conwell Coffee Hall. With their logo with the MP or micro printing like you can see on a check. Success, the taste of, success, the taste of, success, the taste of. Entrance with different modes of transportation in the nickel silver. And elements that you will see in the Life and Trust Bank. This lock and key especially. Notice also the squirrels, which are typical of a bank of this era, storing nuts away for savings. On this side, you got the cornucopia for affluence and opulence. I suppose the wolf is like security or something like that. I'm not sure. They also use these owls throughout Life and Trust as well. Let's get a full look at this. Also at the little designs here that they have of industry on the right, agriculture on the left. Another fasces, the scales of justice. A timer with wings on it. Amazing. Here, which give the impression that there's like a whole other side of the building, although it really is just a corner. We're now going to look at Exchange Place, 20 Exchange Place, but first, let's just take one more look at some of the elements here. You can see should be medicine. Pharmacy, right? He's got the mortar and pestle there with the snake. Justice, scales, and it should be authority, the sword. And all of these female figures in scenes of nature carved in up there as well. This should be a vent as well for the old steam heating system. So nowadays this is a residential entrance. I believe in the 90s, I think 1996, they converted the building into residential. So the original building was supposed to be, like I mentioned, the Citibank Farmers Trust. And you're going to see up here National City Company and their insignia, and National City Bank. So the Citibank Farmers Trust, this was a merger of a bunch of these banks. The Farmers Trust Bank was a branch of the Citibank of New York, which today survives as Citibank, which is the banking subsidiary of Citigroup financial conglomerate. You can see again all of these coins going around the archway here for all the countries they had their branches in. There's America, Italia, Cuba, Mexico, China, Francais, Belgium, Florence, I guess, Bolivia, and España. Muy bien, muy bien. We have another one down here. Yep. So there you go, Argentina. So yeah, we will not be permitted to go in here. You can see that it is Art Deco, but it's sort of like Art Deco with like a Beaux-Arts hangover or something. Because this still was kind of leaving the Beaux-Arts era of New York architecture here. And this is like a little bit more of revivalist style than you might see in a more purely Art Deco building like Rockefeller Center or the Chrysler Building or something like that. Just got to point out that since 9/11, you can see these black mechanical barricades, retractable barricades that move up and down, blocking traffic off. I think there's like 12 of these for every street that gives direct access either in or out to the World Trade Center. Sorry, to the Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, which they believe may be some sort of targeted area. So this does prevent a lot of vehicles from just sort of casually going around here. Even before this, you probably wouldn't just be casually driving around here so much because of the confusing layout of the street. So you can see that it is mainly pedestrians. A few cars here and there, but other than that, not a lot. Right? And we can kind of see into the kitchen area of Conwell Coffee Hall, again with these wheat and agriculture motifs. Here you've got what looks like maybe engineering, guy building a wheel. Here you have navigation and seafaring, woman holding a ship right there. Looks like masonry on the right, and I don't know what she's holding there on the left. Holding something in her right hand. It's like a bomb in her left hand. Who knows? Anyways, this might be astronomy or something like that on the right. There's a survey, I don't know. And on the left, this would be architecture. Actually, you can see that she's holding a compass in one hand and a scale model of the Citibank Farmers Trust building in her left hand. Another model ship. Conwell Coffee Hall. We can take one more look at Bank of Canada, or Canadian Bank of Commerce, which I think occupied this lot originally before this giant building came in and took its place. I think since the 1870s, the Canadian Bank of Commerce had a branch here. So a lot of these banks also had offices within the Citibank Farmers Trust building. This, like I mentioned, was supposed to be the tallest building in the world. The stock market collapsed and they had to scale back construction. There was supposed to be a giant glowing orb on the top of the building, a cupola with a giant glowing orb at the top, plus a bunch of eagle head gargoyles, stone eagle heads, the Conwell Coffee Hall flag. But all that stuff had to be scaled back. This was in the running to beat the Woolworth building as tallest building in the world, and would have been competing with buildings like Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, 40 Wall Street, etc. Let us go in. Now, the first thing you'll notice, quite obviously, is this very excellently done Art Deco style mural, maybe in the Diego Rivera style, that is showing you various scenes in the life of J.G. Conwell. You can see, first of all, the glowing orb that was originally part of the building has been restored to the top right there. Heads, the frightening heads, and as you look down here, you're going to see various scenes that are depicted in Life and Trust. On one side of the building, you have the minting, or printing, I should say, of paper currency. On the other side, you have actual bars of gold that the Life and Trust Bank are mining themselves with their mining operations. This furnace room is featured in the show with these gigantic bellows at the bottom. Here you can see Dr. Kellogg doing experiments on various people. Dr. Kellogg studying blood and eugenics in his laboratory. The green color is very significant. Green not just for money, but also for the opium tincture that made Conwell his fame. Here you can see what I believe to be a young Mr. Conwell. Well, first of all, in his family's home, his father broke and destitute, and a young boy there wondering what to do. You can see some straw in the top. You remember the old Rumpelstiltskin fable of spinning straw into gold. He then gets a contract from a well-dressed individual, perhaps maybe the devil himself. And all of a sudden, he's a successful businessman selling his tinctures over here, Conwell syrup, as they're called. But it's basically laudanum, an opium tincture, and selling by the billions. Mephisto is the guy that he signs the contract with. Notice that the sort of divided in half, similar to Diego Rivera's mural that he started in the 30 Rockefeller building that Mr. Rockefeller made him cancel, and he tore down the original canvas, but it's showing a division left and right. It's sort of like the original title was called Man at the Crossroads, and here we can see somewhat of a crossroads. You see all the great, successful, lovely stuff on the left, and then all the tragic, burning, inferno stuff on the right. You can see, in addition to all the banks and everything being looted and destroyed, and the fires blazing in his factory and everything getting hit by lightning, you also have Mr. Conwell, or Mr. Conwell over there, looking at his contract with this well-dressed individual. Why did he sign it? Why, oh why, oh why? So you can see they got a nice bar set up. Just to browse around a bit, you can see all these elements that are intact. The little waist thing here, where you normally would have there. You normally would have your deposit slips and stuff here. In the old days, they have some postcards for life and trust, and some of the other immersive shows that are related to Sleep No More. Even the ceiling elements, I mean, look at all the detail of the original building here. Amazing. So when you do enter the show, you enter through that place that I showed before, go through ticketing and check-in and coat check your phone, and then you will emerge from this staircase right here. You will not be allowed entry in here. Obviously, this is the residential side of the building that we just saw moments ago. And you can see all of the chefs moving into that kitchen area that we also looked at previously. You may see staff coming in and out of this doorway. And as you enter the show, you will be taken back to October 23rd, 1929, the beginning of the Panic days. I don't want to harass these people too much more, so let's just take one last glimpse around here. And of course, you should acquaint yourself with their official history. You can take a moment to browse this. Even these vents, every one of these vents, just an amazing amount of detail here. So this is the Hanover Street entrance here. And one last look at the Beaver Street main entrance of the show itself. On the opposite side of the building, where the residential entrance is, I would imagine there was a lot of finagling to get the okay to use this space, because people here, even just for the studios, are paying quite a pretty penny. Oh yeah, look at, okay, so there's the main entrance of the show, but the service entrance too. You'll see this, you know, every little bit of detail here. There's this buffalo head carved in with a coiled snake on the left and the right there. Absolutely terrifying. depicting just agriculture. You can see the harvesting of crops, grain, corn. You can see a beehive for industriousness. These are all typical symbols here of these old banks. And again, all the lintels with the lower denomination coins around the bottom of the building. So that's just a brief glimpse of the publicly accessible areas of what is now Conwell Coffee Hall and the Life and Trust Bank. Links in the description to tickets. This is Infrared, and this is what you've been watching.